So like yeah, so what is our? We only done it once. We don't have a staple yet.
Yeah, we never figured out a
I
staple.
thought we were still feeling around for one.
We could still
That's
feel
fucking weird.
around for one, but we didn't even start one. Cause what was it? What was the one that you were saying before?
Yeah, it
It was
is.
something about like the bars open. Like
Yeah, you're supposed to like welcome people to the lounge, like welcome to the lounge. Pull up a bar stool, da 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 da. Grab your snacks, grab your tea. Around here, you know what I mean? Just something random like that. So I'm scrolling through Instagram. I come across a page I've been following for a little while now, and it's from my understanding, it's a pro-black page. It posts a bunch of black people looking beautiful, looking happy, yada yada yada. That's Instagram. You only see it for a couple of seconds. But this one time I was scrolling, I scrolled past a post, and it said that basically black men are the reason that people of non-black races are comfortable saying the N-word, and that kind of that attached to me personally because I am a black man. So I don't know if innately I was feeling defensive, I was feeling attacked. I had to jump in the post, had to jump in comments and defend black men because I just feel like that's like it's absurd and it's kind of racist
wait, so what?
to tag
So
one race and one sex for an entire action.
so wait,
But
what did the comments say? Like, do you remember?
the comments were the comments
Uh,
were messy, man.
You
I
know,
don't know. It was
let me see,
emotional.
cause
No, it was not constructive. It was not constructive.
well,
People were like,
it was only 17 comments, but it looks like people are agreeing, and then I just see yours saying WTF, and then somebody commented and said WTF is right because they have no business doing so. Then you got 10 more replies after. You said, I don't think it's right to put this burden on a single sex and race, which you're right, and there isn't a lot of black men that crave attention from other races. This whole accusation is just oversimplified, which is the same about all this attack black people BS. And you said, I can't believe a page called Love Melanin would just outwardly attack all black men as if all people of any race act the same. And then somebody, I guess, sided with you, said, hey, my boy, it's the majority over minority. Might as well say it's all, since the ones that don't do that are either overshadowed, too small of a platform, or aren't listened to when it comes to uneducated men. But they will run to the likes of Kevin Samuels and stuff. And these are the type of brothers who invite white people to cook out for the literal minimum, who say, I'm black and this wasn't even racist. It was hilarious. Same way who say BW are the only race that don't think they need their men and disrespect their men, but will bash a black woman for a Latino, white girl, Asian, or Indian female about the shit that is a turn on another race's eye. They're aggressive, they're loud, they're too hood ghetto and stuff, and that's what a white person sees in you to make herself closer to black. I'm ashamed my fellow black men don't realize this or are nonchalant to the entire thing, but it is what it is. We don't lose hope.
all right, pause for a second. Pause for a second there. And we're reading her response. We're looking at my response to see how I felt. I'm a little frugal with the language. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that. But how constructive was her comment, and how in depth was that comment compared to the TikTok, and what type of energy that I hold? When she was talking about earlier, she's talking about, oh, there's some black men who are good, but they're just drowned out. She's attacking a certain type of person, differentiating this black man from the second black man. And the post is just we're taking all black men down. And my entire drive, because I'm like we get into the mess. She's talking about Kevin saying she's name dropping shit, but my entire drive is you can't call yourself a page that is supporting black people and then outwardly in the post bash black men. Because how am I as a black man supposed to see that as anything desirable? You know what I mean? You are already like, what type of energy, what are you putting out there when you say that? Because no
Like,
self-respecting man is going to come up to you and, belittle themselves or allow you to think that way of them and be around you, you know what I mean? And then treat you how like a man, treats a woman he cares about, he loves, and a woman who respects him. and
Like
it's just like,
like for
hmm,
me, the only like for me on the post, this is what's getting me confused. Is she says like pretty much she's saying I'm trying to wait for it to come back. Is she saying black men are the reason a lot of non-black people are comfortable saying the N-word? So her problem is that people who are not black are saying the N-word or or so, and they're pretty much putting all the blame on black men because black men say it more. I'm that's the thing that I'm trying to get at because honestly, there's a
there's no
mm,
logic. There's no logic there. I mean, she could, if there was logic, it wasn't presented. You know what I mean? She just threw the idea out there just to say,
it's the
uh,
like the idea I can understand where she's probably trying to come from, but there's no like I don't want to say there is no reason. I'm sure she has a reason behind it. I'm sure there's a reason for her saying it because obviously that's why the post is there. But I think it's too general for me because right now I'm thinking like when I'm thinking the N word, I'm thinking nigga, not er.
mhm,
I'm thinking nigga because you know us black people, Hispanic people, because I'm half black and Hispanic, we say nigga all the time. But
mhm,
obviously any other race saying that that's not going to come off as like hey you shouldn't be saying that if that's something that like that I can like understand like because we say it a lot but it's not just black men, it's everyone. And
uh,
when I mean everyone, I'm saying people who say it on the norm because they can, and because they can, the people that hang around them that quote unquote essentially can't say it, since they're hanging around those people, it's like, oh well, since I'm hanging around you, I guess I'm allowed to say it now. So it's not really like
mm,
it's not generally yeah, probably a lot of men say it
listen,
more, but it's not just men.
do you say it around people who can't say it often? I don't say it
Hmm?
often around people who can't say it.
No,
Do you say that?
I will say that I will only say it around friends. And when I mean
Mm,
friend, obviously, when I say like friends, like a lot of my friends are one black, Hispanic. Not there's not really a lot of whites, so that is
around the
some.
way.
If it's around a white person, it might accidentally slip, but that's because that's something that was came natural to me of just
Exactly.
being said.
I can,
That's
cause
the
I would say I'm mindful too. Like, as in like I don't want if I'm around you and I would feel uncomfortable with you saying the word. I'm
don't
not gonna
say it.
put that.
Yeah,
I'm
the,
not gonna put that word in the air and like put it in your ear and
yeah,
have you like what I mean? Because
yeah.
if it slips
That's
out, I'm a snap. Like if it slips out, like there's like I'm gonna look at you as like a complete different person. I'm gonna look at you as like no respect. I'm gonna put you in a category of like people. You know what I
yeah.
mean? That like you automatically you're cut off. Basically, if I see that, you're cut off. So that's my personal feelings about it. And when I grew up, I always understood like it's kind of a blurred line when it comes to Spanish people and stuff. Spanish people have their own
They say it all the
crazy
time.
ass.
Trust me, they say it all the time.
No, but we have a more complicated racial history with it. It's like Spanish people have their own black and white, and then there's black and white, just non-Spanish black and white people as well. And I don't know, man. It's just like I growing up, I realized it's so hard to like focus on other people for change or there's no point in blaming other people for certain things because it's like unless you can only affect the things you should only worry about the things you can actually change
Right.
and other than that you're just riling up negativity because if I walk in a spot and I say this party is lame because all these motherfuckers is here and I point to that corner now the energy is drawn towards the lameness of the party, drawn towards the problem, instead of me walking to the party and just being hype, me just like, getting everybody up. So it's so hype, we can't even see that lame shit going on in the corner. You know what I mean? It's such a a small factor now instead of, and that's all about what we choose to focus on. That's where that analogy comes from. If you chose to focus on the lame stuff, it gets worse. You know what I mean? If you chose to really drag that shit out and deal with negativity instead of actively being a part of the solution. And running a page and having a voice is interesting because I feel like honestly she was doing exactly what, like, she was doing exactly the wrong thing. Like, you have a page, you have a voice, and you come at black people saying, well, any black men with a big enough, like any black men who feel the right way don't have a big enough voice or are overshadowed. And what did she do with her one spotlight? She chose to bash black men, as a black woman. And then you want to start this whole big debate, people getting in relationships, racial stuff, black couples, non-black couples, and I had to step away from the internet because when I realized my mental does not embody every mental of every black man, and it's hard to stand by somebody and not know what they stand for, or it's hard to just take up for somebody and then you see video, everything's taken out of context. And I definitely would stand by black men, but it's like I can't stand by every motherfucker. Like if somebody's a fucking pedophile or somebody's out there beating women and he's not trying to fucking change himself and he's actively just out there, this is the right thing to do, just put a bitch in check, da 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 da. I'm not gonna stand by him just because he's black. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not my each and every situation takes just like each and every different person is different. So it's
Yeah.
like in social media, you can't portray, like, you have to want to portray, you have to want to fill out something intelligent, you have to want to bring something in. It's easy to do something quick, fast. Boom, put a pretty girl up, you're gonna get likes. Boom, put some hate up, you're gonna get comments, you're gonna get issues and stuff. But like, I just really fail to see, even in my life, where black men perpetuate allowing other people to say the N word. Like, I really haven't seen it ever. I really haven't seen it ever.
Yeah,
Like, not me.
I don't think anyone is
Right.
like perpetuating or like trying to like force somebody to say it. I think it's more here's the way I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to say curse words, you say them around people you're comfortable with, but if it's like around your parents who you never curse in your life, or especially as a kid, or say your boss or someone that you have like a high standard for of respect and amount of professionalism, you don't say those things. So that's one thing that way I think of it as far as like how it's used um,
Mm-hmm.
in some aspects. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, but when I was reading through those comments, I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from, and I think it's a little too general and not like saying that all of them. And I'm like, no, not all of them. But then it started getting into more of other things that is like, okay, there's some underlining things that you're trying to say that you just wanted to bring this out there first, like
Yeah,
the relationships, like black men getting with white women and stuff like that. Just like
doing that. And then it's crazy. He started posting TikToks of black men talking about how they didn't like ghetto black girls, how they like, what I mean? She
I
just
mean,
specifically started finding shit on the internet,
see
reposting it herself.
that's where they try like that type of person is someone who, and no offense to them, however they do it, that's them, that's not me, whatever, I don't care. However they want to do it, how do they want to do it, but as long as everybody understands what they're doing and they understand what they're doing, go ahead, have at it. I mean, it's the world, there's a lot of things going on in it, whatever. But the idea of deliberately making a statement and then finding small proofs, it's like, say you have a research topic that you're writing a paper for and you got to find all the resources that would back up your claim, even if it's a small sliver group, like going into a party and you find like that small group of people that could support your claim, and that's like your broad. uh Stuff like that can be very manipulative, and it's like, I don't know, it's, I mentioned it before, like in media, it could change a person's perspective. Just one post or two posts that are similar that can support an influencer's claim or someone that a group of people will actually listen to and tune into to make them change their opinion about something.
Mm, yeah, and that's like I don't know. I feel like people should not be swayed by a single post. You know what I mean? Like,
If they will be swayed to
really,
it if they can relate to it or it hits them hard. Especially if it's like,
yeah,
damn, that's my real life right there. I feels
there's
that.
different types of things. There's different types of things. I feel like there's a post that could sway you based off of its information. Like, yeah, you could be swayed by a single post, but something where it's like we're talking about relationships, and one like you only have to find yourself one other person. You know what I mean? Minimum, maximum, minimum,
This
one
guy.
other person. So the fact that you got one TikTok with one dude, or like even six TikToks with six different guys talking about how they don't like black girls, and it's like, and there's a certain thing of like personal accountability because there's I don't know. I don't want to become this to be like a Kevin Samuels type thing or anything. I'm not gonna bash anybody outright, but I'm just gonna say I love black women. You know, I love black women. I have nothing against them since we're being recorded. This is on the interwebs and stuff. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say
it
there are beautiful and ugly things about every person in every race. Okay, you know what I mean. Everybody has pros.
yeah, everybody has their own specific taste, and that's fine.
And then women can express their cons all the time. Not only do women express their, I mean, I guess they don't really express their cons all the time. I mean, it depends. I don't really pay attention that much, to other people and stuff like that. That's what makes me bad at certain topics like this because I'm like, I don't know what these little high schoolers is thinking. But if there's a whole wave of high schoolers talking about they don't like this, that, and the third, and you're feeling some type of way about it, it's like maybe they're just not for you. Maybe you should like maybe you're not attracted to those dudes, they're not attracted to you. Go find somebody who respects you, who likes everything you got going on, and you deal with that instead. And like that's the truth of it. You don't really have to deal with people like maybe you do. Maybe you do, but
Oh,
not
you
when
have
you
to deal
are
with
choosing
people
to live
all the
your life.
time.
You
Yeah,
have to deal with people in your everyday life, school, work, blah blah blase blase.
yeah.
But you choose your significant other. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And unless you're messed and you want to be in everybody's business and everybody's this, that, and the third, like that's what I'm saying. You could sift through these options. People are going to be different, have different opinions.
You know,
And it's like what?
This reminds me of a story back in high school. So you know those times that we would like have dances with Linden Hall, the sister
Mhm.
school that we had. So
Mhm.
were you there when Aaron had his little fling with one of the Linden Hall girls?
No, it was not.
Oh no,
Me,
I'm
I'm
sure.
not
I
even.
sure you like you weren't there. I'm sure you were actually, because it was around that
Mhm.
year. Because anyway, so the person that he had a fling with, she was interested in me, but I didn't see
Mm.
her that way. But I like to be friends and stuff like that. Me saying like, "Hey, I'm not interested," the whole concept got construed to thinking that I don't date black women. I don't like to date black women. I'm not interested in black women. I hate black women. And I was like, wait, what? Just because I didn't feel the same way or I wasn't attracted to the person the same way, I'm gonna tell you right now, her and I are still like we're friends. I'll hit her up a couple times, like congratulate, because she's doing a lot of good stuff.
Wait, that is high. That is so. That's insecurity. That's one. That's
Yeah,
insecurity. That's like, what is that?
but
Like,
that
she's her face is this deep in her own shit.
no, no.
Not even her. Cause I'm gonna come up with the rumor, but I'm gonna just say that mentality. He said no to me, so he must not like black women. That's the type of shit I had to deal
But
with in
no,
my
it
own
wasn't. But
experience.
it wasn't her that like spread that around. It's other
I
people.
figured.
It wasn't
I
her.
figured,
It
but
was other
the
people.
toxic. But wait, hold on. I hear you. I hear you. Because the fact that you're still friends with her, she probably did not have that type of mentality. She's probably level headed. You know, it's all girls' school, blase, blase. Girls get to speaking, toxicity gets to spinning, and you know, but whatever,
I was
whatever
so
happens, you know,
confused.
that
I was
was.
like, "What?
Uh,
Do you not know I'm half black
no,
and my mom is black? Like, there is
yeah, but
nothing. I just don't feel the
I
same
wasn't
way."
like people. I can't believe people, and it's like not even just young people, like adults did that because I'll be in school and older people in my family be like, "Oh, you never had a crush on a black girl, or you never had a crush on this, that, and the third." And it's like, first of all, there are a maximum of 20 kids in my grade. There is a choice between 10 different people, and I got standards, okay? I got standards. I like beautiful, fun, intelligent women, exciting, lots of energy, okay? They got to check all the boxes. So it's not really hard to believe that the 10 girls that I've seen for 1 year is just one of them is just not my taste, okay? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And evidently, it's like I don't really have to keep track of the like. I feel like this is hard. I don't want to have to keep track or be mindful of the races that I date. I don't want to have
I
to do
think
that
no.
in a perfect world,
I think
but I feel like I was pushed towards it by my own family to like, you know what I mean?
yeah. I
And
no. I
maybe
get that.
uh,
Cause go ahead.
yeah,
Cause
I like what.
that just got me in a whole thing because that is something that it's in society itself. People will be like, "Oh, if you're going, you got to date somebody either in our race or whatever," and that's kind of like, why can't someone just like someone for? I don't want to say just strictly on personality. What obviously, if you got to be attractive physically, but why can't,
Mhm.
regardless of the race, you can just like whoever you want? Why does it have to be like, oh, I gotta get with a Hispanic, or I gotta get with an Asian, I gotta get with a black girl, or a white girl? White girl will do this. Like it doesn't have to be that way, but we put it that way for like I don't want to say forcefully, but it just happened. For example, like back when I was like a like younger, my dad, he would be always like, "Yo, you should get with an Asian chick." You're like, "Yo, you should be like, you should do with this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm attracted to Asians. Like, that's fine." But like, what if there's someone who's not Asian that I really like and I really want to be with? And obviously, let's just say like one of the relationship, like, well, most of the relationships that I've been in were with Hispanics because I like them. Especially one that I
And
was
it's
with for like more than 2 years. Like that best time.
and exactly those things also will happen naturally because of you have similarities in culture, the way you brought up, maybe households are kind of the same. You have a lot in common. So like even the fact that your parents are happy that you're dating somebody with the same race. And it's weird because it's not their life, it's not their relationship. It's
But they
not,
making
and
it
it's just
as if it's theirs.
exactly. So imagine I picked a person solely based off of what will make my mama happy, and I picked the next attractive black girl that hit me up,
Mm.
And it's just like, now, what kind of relationship am I in? I'm in a relationship because other people would like it, and not because I would like it, and that just I feel like you end up in too many weird situations. Like it's got to be it's got to be a personal thing. You know what I
And,
mean?
and,
It's got to
and
be a personal
yeah,
thing.
and listeners, whoever's listening, watching, whatever, don't construe it as if we're saying don't date in your own race or whatever. Race should not be the main drive for you to date someone or to search who you want. Like if that's something that like you only want Hispanics, fine, whatever, cool, that's you. But as long as it's you that like it, not somebody telling you you should do this, you need to do
I
that.
feel like yeah, I feel like I want to say like the main drawback is I don't know. Everybody is too different. You know, these little categories don't define the person. Don't you know? Don't throw that negativity and try to throw other people under the bus because that's not going to make you look good. It doesn't make you look attractive. and just like spiritual. You just out here bashing this, that, and the third, and you're not gonna get what you want. You're gonna attract more negativity in that mindset. And if you're looking for a relationship, in a relationship, chosen for the right reasons, you know, you have to appreciate that person for who they are. You know, you gotta appreciate them for who they are and appreciate the things that you like about them and just y'all space because it really is nobody else's. And that person, a relationship, I remember telling my younger brothers, it's like if it's from a guy to a girlfriend, you will never experience that same emotional connection between anybody else in your life other than that your significant other. I don't know how it feels for women, maybe probably the
Yeah,
same.
it's definitely
But
it. It's the same. It has. I don't. I'm not speaking for them, but I'll just agree
it
because
has
I think it's never a one sided thing, unless the person is just cold hearted and just doesn't care about life. But
exactly.
if whatever men feel, women feel the same. Whatever women feel, men feel the same.
If you it's crazy concept, right? Because we want to swear that we're like aliens or something. I'm like, damn, like whatever. But it's just like that person is gonna have more control over you than your mom, your dad, maybe even your kid. They'll have control of your kids if they're a woman. So you know what I mean? Like think about that. Like you won't be no toxic, petty ass shit. Next thing you know, you have a baby and the girl's keeping your kid from you. Girl, you know what I mean? Somebody like it's just a lot of situations. So I
Yeah,
just want everybody to just keep that part of your life healthy. Keep hate out of that part of your life. And if somebody, you know what I mean, just keep that healthy because that's like the next closest thing to self love. Whoever you let love you is the closest thing you get in self love. It might be the only form of love depending on what type of person you are. You know,
mm,
if you're not really good at loving yourself, and you might actually be allowing somebody to come in your life and see the detrimental spot that you're in and capitalize on it, keep you in that state, and then keep you low to their advantage. And now because of that connection you have, there's nobody else, like we said, nobody else has that connection with you like somebody in a relationship with you. Nobody else has that power to lift you up or to hold you down, hold you back, longer than anybody else would. So you got it's a lot more things to put up to that just to be caught up in this high school BS where it's like you see somebody from across the street make a 3-second assessment about them and just never open your mind anything else to any
that's
other possibility.
that's the first impression crap that we were talking about before, where
Mm-hmm.
you get a first glance and then that's it, or you just misunderstood who that individual really is because you didn't really give him that chance. And obviously we already talked about misunderstandings and stuff like that, but that's where it all constrides into, and what happens when uh stuff like that goes
Listen to
on.
episode 1, or what we call it, episode 1. You got to link the videos for me. You got to link the video. First videos in the description, you guys.
This guy.
Yeah,
But
but it's
yeah,
crazy. That's a heavy ass topic. I knew it was gonna get heavy when I pulled up that post because it was heavy when I was reading about
it was
the.
already heavy when you I saw it. I was like, oh geez, here we go. Because like stuff like that that's heavy. It's good conversation, but it's only good if people are open to, one, discuss, and two,
Mhm.
actually listen before saying like, oh well, you're wrong because this, that, and the third. You're like, well, what if I'm like, okay, maybe if I'm wrong, but this is because this is what I believe in, or it's just all this stuff that could happen. But if you're able to be open to,
Exactly.
but that
That's
post
what.
was one set minded from what I could see. Like they had directly what they said, and they were gonna back behind it regardless what anybody says. As long as they got
And you,
people who agree, then it's like I
mhm.
don't care if I'm wrong because I got people here who believe I'm right.
And that's exactly what it was. Just a bunch of just a bunch of little fans in the comments like, you right, damn right,
Yeah,
fuck these niggas.
and then yeah, that one post was just you, just like no,
Mhm.
no.
I was the only one, and See, that's the other mistake I did. It's like I thought the page was bigger than it actually was. It got like 200 likes and like 17 comments. So
Yeah, you're right.
it's not
Cause
really out there. I'm not really arguing with a whole bunch of men on my side. I'm arguing with like somebody who made the page and probably, has a very small niche group of people.
I mean that's how you gain your followers, really, or anybody is. Or if you have like a product, if as long as you got a niche, it don't matter what you got that group of people. So she really got
I
her
just
target.
wanted I kind of my idea. I thought it was gonna be big enough for me to just fall to the wayside. I didn't think the actual like
No,
moderators.
when I saw 17 comments, I was like, yeah, you James,
No,
your comment was
no,
gonna get seen.
no, and yeah. Then I posted it on my story because I'm just like it was like in the morning, and I don't really post or talk or like comment a lot on Instagram. So anytime all this crazy
See,
shit happens, I'm just like dumbfounded. My friends,
this
they
is
probably
why
think
I
I'm
try
freaking
to
out.
not do anything in the morning on social media. I get up, I look at my bank account and anything involving stocks or whatever, and then I leave to get ready for work. I never go on social media because
Social media is the devil, man. It's the devil. It holds you back. It's that one relationship I gotta let go
this guy just disappeared into the ether. And he's
of.
back.
Yeah, I did get to the Aether just for 2 seconds though, just for 2 seconds. But it's like,
But no,
social
social
media.
media, it is toxic, and this is someone who studied film and media and stuff like that. Like to be honest, the only reason why I'm on social media is so I can get like most artists, they're out there to try and post their stuff, try to get their work out there, try to get people to get into it, support them, make money, get deals with companies, all that other extra stuff. Like that's all I use it really for. And obviously you got some people who use it for other things. So, but
Hey,
it is a toxic world. It's a toxic digital
it's
world.
the internet. It's the internet 2.0. You know,
How's it
and
2.0? It's the internet.
I feel like social media is like it's weird to say. It's like its own branch of the internet. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, social
It's like
media is society just digitally.
yeah, digital society, something
So
like that.
so everybody who is in the virtual world, that's if we were say if we were all without social media, without the internet or whatever, there was like think of it as instead of all the different countries separated and stuff, we were back on Pangea and everybody was just living on that giant landmass, right? No social media, no internet, no nothing, and we just communicate
Like,
with each other, right? You getting where I'm coming at?
okay, yeah, I'm listening.
So think of that Pangea with all these people with their own little niches of people and communications and stuff like that. That's the internet. That's social media.
Also, social media is basically Pangea. That's
I
what you're saying.
Yeah, essentially. It's a it's a digital island full of people that find their little groups and then they just stay in those little groups and then they start hating on other groups or jump into other groups and just creating their own things. It's a virtual island, virtual world.
It is crazy because like that's the problem with it. Why you can't get rid of it because you could be using social media and it could have a negative hold in your life, or you can be productive with it. You think you can be productive with it. You know what I mean? So you keep it up.
That's why I'm trying to be productive with it instead of because if not, then I would really wouldn't need it. It's mostly for me. It's keeping up with friends that rather communicate through that instead of actually texting or calling me. I prefer text over call, but still, like contacting me through my actual phone number, which I have. Everybody just wants to be like, "Yo, you got Instagram? Yo, you got Snap?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do, but
Uh,
it'd be cool if you just text. You can just text me. Here's my
yeah,
number."
it's like texting is almost like pushed back. I feel like 1/3 of my communication is via text.
Yeah, like the way I
Maybe even
communicate,
half.
like legit, the way I communicated with you mostly is through Snap.
Through Snap, yeah.
Yeah. Most people I communicate
Uh,
with them through Snap. because that's what
But it's
because
like I don't have notifications on my Snapchat. Like the social media shit, I hated it so much. I don't have notifications on right now, but I still checked it pretty often. Like I check it right now just because you said something. But
see, and that's where it
like,
gets addicting too.
yeah, I mean, when you the crazy part is humans are like lab rats. You know, we're like lab rats.
We test on
This
each other all
shit
the time.
built to dominate us. You know, it was built to dominate our minds. It was built to dominate our
Yo,
needs. It was like it's and this is all factual, bro.
no,
Down the fact that Facebook, listen, that Facebook is blue and white, right? And the notification is red. That little irritant in the corner, that little notification, and it forces you like, I gotta click it. I want to see what it is. I want to get it off my screen. I want it to be clean again. And I like it's just little things like that that just
that's
work
like
everywhere.
that's like what emails and text messages and phone calls and all that stuff. They get the little red notification with the dot or whatever. But I was gonna say that reminds me. So earlier today when I woke up, or well, I got a little. I like brush my teeth and all that stuff. I decided to check social media for real quick, and on it there was an ad for this one thing. It's called Moxie. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence that is it's supposed to help. It's for ages 5 to 10, but obviously people older can use it. But it's an AI that is supposed to be your child's best friend that they can communicate with and create social skills and
Right?
so forth. Yeah,
So weird.
I was like, what? And everybody in the comments were like, this is Black Mirror. Black Mirror. Did we not see Black Mirror or all the other like AI stuff? And I'm just like, this is actually pretty cool, but at the same time, there also is that retrospect.
What is the AI capable of? Like
It's
my
cap
kid's best friend.
it's capable of communicating like the way how we're talking right now. It can talk with your child like that. Obviously it's still a machine processing, so it has to listen to what you say before responding, but it acts to be a machine that helps your child build social skills, be able to answer questions, be able to make friends with people, be able to do well anything, and then it keeps track for the parent
Uh,
to see. Apparently, it's been around for like a
that
year.
is,
It's $1,000.
yeah.
I was like, oof, $1,000, but sheesh, an AI that just has a digital screen with with his face, and he
Is it
just
an
talks to you.
iPad?
No, it's not an iPad. It's a literal machine bot. Like you ever see one of those sci-fi movies with the little mini bot that like talks to the character? It's that,
Yeah.
except for it has a digital interface.
I'm thinking, can it homeschool my kid?
No, it hasn't gotten that far, but I mean, if
You
after
know,
after several updates, I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can.
yeah. If you can't educate my child, and that's the thing too. That's the thing too. It's like
That's it.
I'm
All
pretty
right.
much
I got a question for
I'm
you.
highly disappointed with technology.
No, I got a question for you then. Since you bring up that statement, would you rather have your child homeschooled by a person or an AI, and why?
Mm, it depends. It depends. It depends because I really wouldn't want my child to learn from an AI, but the person would have to be, you know, highly intelligent. The person
They
has to
have
be as good as the school, as good as the school. That's hilarious. But it's like I don't know. I
all
want to
right,
make sure my child's getting education. So
all
an
right.
AI,
I'm a level the playing field even more.
what?
So the human has a teacher's degree, PhD, all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
So does the AI. Who are you picking?
All right, so they're completely equal, other than the fact that it's a human and it's AI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they were learning the same amount from either.
Yep.
Mm, AI, because I feel like it'd be cheaper.
Cheaper.
Cheaper and at any time. Like if I had a human, I would have to work by their schedule, their hours, all that other stuff. If it was the AI, I could just turn that buy it once, turn that joint on, and my kid be baby Einstein.
All right. So that kind of brings into another
Are you
thing.
surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. That's interesting. The way you worded it is kind of interesting because when you say just turn that thing on, pop it on, and then have just the kid just sit there and learn. That's kind of how essentially how virtual is going. When during lockdowns and stuff, students were sitting there learning virtually, but instead, obviously,
Uh,
it's not an
yeah,
AI; it's a teacher. So, do you think that's even more
exactly.
efficient?
I don't know. You'll notice when I say that the teacher would have to be as good as the school. I laughed and I put quotations because that shit is ass. That shit is not real education. It's not real education. I stand by that. It's a scam. They taking your money and leaving you dummy. Okay, and that's what they doing. So the
College.
fact that
I I'll let you continue, but I'm gonna say I would say that about college. Anything as far as elementary, middle school, all the way to high school, cool. College, that's when it gets a little
you,
scammy.
you say that, but that's maybe your personal
That
experience.
that's again,
I'm
that's my personal. That, but go
the
ahead.
whole education system away. Throw it all away. Get rid of it. Understand that just like the police, it came from uh, a more sinister history where now I'm not sure. You might have to Google this yourself especially when I start name dropping
Yeah, it's
because but
not only me but
was it
listeners too.
Rockefeller?
What?
I was about to say everybody. It was Rockefeller or somebody like that was so rich they were talking about the structure of school and yada yada blase blase. This rich wealthy businessman instead of creating schools for people to learn how to be rich and wealthy businessmen like him created a school to create factory workers. That's what school was for. And yeah, I don't know. So now I'm wrapping my head around what I could possibly use school for to move beyond that. I do believe there's certain ways you can you can go into school and definitely get benefits from it, but it's I still feel like it's stripping you of a lot, of a lot. In the education system, when I especially during Corona and online, poopy, crap. I don't understand. I don't understand how I always expected more. I feel like I've always expected more from my classes, from my work, and it just seems like they're not really focused on you retaining new knowledge. Like it's frustrating. It's frustrating
And
to go to school to spend money to rush and feel all to finish all your grades, but don't feel any smarter sometimes. I don't
I
know.
no, I get where you're coming at with it. So I'm gonna speak from a gray area because I feel like the education system, the structure of it is sound. Intentionally, it is sound. I think knowledge is something that it should be one. Like everybody should have a chance to have a sense of knowledge, learning new things, because that's how you understand the world around you. The only way it is regardless it is flawed, but only in the sense that it doesn't have the support that it needs by one having the right people in there to be teaching, or two, allowing those people that have the right to be teaching to be paid correctly as they need to be to survive, so they can have the time to invest into teaching and being able to institutionalize the the future generations that need that knowledge to progress our society as a whole. And I forgot my third one, but I just know that, like, regardless, it's budget and having the right people in charge or the right people involved to be able to progress what education should be. Because, again, like I said, and right now, to me, college was useless because I'm in thousands of dollars in debt, and the more that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, I really could have used that money or used that time to actually teach myself or be around and experience things myself through, like, just pretty much just everything that I'm doing now I've done by myself. But at the same time, the experience, and there are some classes that I took and some people that I learned from that was actually helpful in helping me progress into what I did. Like, I was able to learn like some resources to take, some techniques to learn, some things to study, some things to look at from certain professors. But hmm? Yeah, so it's like it depends on that, but also uh, this country just has no support on education like it needs to.
Doesn't
Unlike,
prioritize education.
yeah, instead we prioritize our money into higher taxes and just being able to keep everyone in that institutional class of lower class, this class, this class. I remember so many times on like the internet or like growing up, like we would always be like, "Yo, why isn't there a class where we can learn how to do taxes or how to buy a house or anything like that?" But apparently there are classes, you just got to pay for them, and that's
Yeah.
not fair. That's where it gets construed, and that's where it shouldn't be right. Like, I get it if you're trying to use your knowledge to make money because that's your business, but at the same time, it's knowledge should be for everybody. So then we don't get misconstrued and we don't have these people like a lot in this pandemic who just, there's science and then you got stuff that is just like you just babbled out there and be like, oh, that actually sounds reasonable. All right, I'm gonna believe in that. Forget the science, forget the proof, forget anything, forget facts, forget learning. Whatever this guy says, he's right because I don't know what's going on. But if you teach, if
And
everybody is able to know everything, or you're able to teach someone what they need to know to understand a certain thing, there you go. But that's
mm,
that's where the
now
gray area comes in.
I understand, like, when you put out like that, I see the issue with everyone knowing everything. Like, there has to be a threshold to reach to get to some knowledge. Like, it can't just be handed out, you know. But I don't feel like it should be hidden, and that's what I feel like it is. Not only that, I feel like we're treated like mm, we're not given 100% the truth. Obviously, like when you're like kind of like low level, I feel like you really have to make. I don't know. I don't know. It's a dog eat dog world out there, man. No one's really looking out for you other than your family, and that's about it. You know,
Yeah, it
everybody else
depends.
is like
It
friends.
depends because I know some people whose families just left them for dead. So,
Exactly.
so
So
it's
it's even like that in the corporate world, in the business world. Your job doesn't care about you. They just care if you're a better worker. What can you do for the job? What can you do for this, that, and the third? And it's like you have to propel yourself through this and make yourself a valuable asset to yourself, other people. You know, you have to save your money. You have to be on top. It's really like you have to go out there and survive. And yeah, people get lucky and have family or support systems that may not be their family that are inside their lives to help them. And a lot of people don't have any of that as well. You know what I mean? And that's how it creates this kind of this kind of jungle out there, this concrete jungle of you don't really care if you're starving on the street or anything like that. You got some money is the question, you know?
mm,
And I feel like that's why the education system is so bad because it's just like it's not we're not working towards a utopia. We're working towards making my pockets fatter, and then you gotta go figure out how to survive on your own, basically.
yeah, that's pretty
And,
much that's how the world's working right now. It's that's
well, that's how this country works.
Yeah, America specifically. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot worse in other countries too. But that's like a whole different thing. That's way different. But in America,
worse or better.
some places better, some places are worse, but to each its own. But in America, yeah,
That's
we
life.
we're in a
That's life.
we're in a
You gotta take the good with the bad, make the best of it.
yeah, that's true. Cause I don't know, there's a lot to this world that is just like there's one problem that comes and it's like, well, there was a certain cause to it that occurred, and then you bring it all the way back to like it's a chain reaction of stuff. And I've sat down with my great grandmother and I had to explain to her because this is I used to like list I like history and I just didn't like taking the tests and quizzes,
Hmm.
but that's how I learned like there's a lot more to this than what was put on because it's like, well, the only reason why this happened was because of this, and this happened because of this, and because of this, and this and that and the third. If this didn't happen, then none of this would have happened, but it did, and then this is why this happened, and so forth. It's
Hmm.
like everything that we're experiencing now is like point Q, and then we got to trace it all the way back to point A. But we're so focused on
Hmm.
Q and R and S that point A is no longer in existence. It's weird.
And that's smart. And, I feel like that's another reason. We'll call it point Q because that's what we're talking about where we are right now. Where we think about we amass the history of it, or point Q is like the history was shown to us, right?
Mm,
When I looked at history as a young kid, I could not stomach it. I could not stomach the racism and the just it's crazy. It's crazy. It's inhumane. It's like hell on earth. And I couldn't that's why I hated history. You know, I never looked at history. I hated it. I hated classes. I hated learning about one white dude after the next. And it's just like I never really truly got
it
to look at any other part of history but the one part that I hated so much. That little fucking 400, 200 year gap period and everything, you know?
yeah, history in
And
America,
like,
500
and it's
page
crazy.
book.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like when you're in history class and you get that 500 page book, and then majority of it it's just like within the past less than 400 years or so. And when there's like
Yeah.
so much of history, like the things that would happen, like say in Mesopotamia and stuff like that, is only like 2 chapters, or which is like 4 pages, and then afterwards it just jumps to different things.
It was just filled with so much filler. Like, why the fuck did I ever need to know that? Like,
Well,
like
for a general
I've
person,
literally we've been taking history classes since as long as I can remember. I was in school. I took a history. I can't remember one fucking thing from a single history class. I guess I've got real dumb to all the fucking historians and shit out there. Who are like, you idiots! You wouldn't have peanut butter without history.
no, I
I'm just
think
like,
it's to each its own, but pretty much like history itself, it's in order for time to progress, you got to know what's happened before. You got to at least know the
mhm,
reasons behind everything. Like for example, racism didn't just appear out of thin air. That's just something that's just started from a certain point in
what
time.
did yeah,
Hmm?
what didn't appear out of thin there?
Like racism, it didn't just appear out of thin
Oh,
air. It just there was a point in time when that just strictly just started. We don't know it is we probably could know like pinpoint accurately like when, but for the most part it's been around.
like racism is, and this is sad to say, it's like innate. It's like innate because I watched a documentary on what animals do to albino animals, and they kill them.
That's why you
Like
rarely
on
see
sight.
albino animals.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like as humans, and with the gift of communication, the gift of gab, we should be able to overcome that and become this. But it's like we get so many emotions wrapped up in that jealousy, anger,
Misunderstandings,
hmm all that.
miscommunication, and then perspectives, and then saying you're right, I'm wrong. No, like you're wrong, I'm right, that type of thing. That's when things just There's no longer a communication involved. It's more on like it's my perspective or nothing. It's nerf or nothing, and that
Mhm.
sucks.
And it's like I don't know. Part of that comes from people wanting to be heard. I understand that. I want to speak my perspective out so loud and not listen, so people forced to listen to me. Because I feel like sometimes that's my perspective when I go into arguments, and it's hard to not put myself on the other side or whatever. But even at the same time, it's like I don't know. I just really enjoy listening to other people's thoughts, other people's perspectives. Like I want to be able to get everything I would say out and have like a healthy spot to like really release my true thoughts, you know. And I want you to release your true thoughts, but sometimes after I do what I do, it's like people don't want to talk,
Yeah,
or
that
people want to break things.
yeah, that does tend to
Mhm.
happen. That does happen all the time, and it's yeah.
And it's like I know the topic is passionate. I know, you know what I mean. But even though I'm speaking, I'm not trying to direct this energy towards you. This energy is towards the topic. You know, this is just how I feel about it, and I'm just being honest.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I try to talk to a lot of things, but it's interesting that talking to strangers, like you said with the first impressions, and how quick the first impressions are. You, wow, there's a lot of topics that are flying to my head right now because
Well,
I'm thinking about how Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love, right?
mhm.
Allegedly, 500 people were murdered in the last year. That's almost 2 people a day murdered, and it's like we don't know how to speak to each other. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to interact. We don't know how to love each other. And when you ask people around Philadelphia who it is, lawyers, you know, people in the hood, it's children. It's children, and that's just like the saddest thing to hear. It is 15-year-olds to 18-year-olds murdering other children over social media, over just all these misunderstandings, over revenge, jealousy. He got what I want, and it's like I can't imagine life expectancy going down to 15 or 18, less than that in 2022. But it really is for like some people, you know.
Well, let's
And
let's not speak that into the universe. Let's try to, because we still in the start of 2022. Not trying to.
oh wait, well, 21, my bad. 500 people were
I
killed. Yeah, my bad.
was about to say like, damn, you that's your retrospective on 2022, which would be a good topic to
Uh,
talk about, but still.
it was a terrible sense of time. But my sense of
Sheesh.
time isn't good. But what I was about to say, it's just like I feel like everything we've kind of discussed kind of like shows like you got school, relationships, misunderstandings, all that being like poured into it. You know, the young kids, all while the pandemic's going on, and it's like nobody is really like, you know what it is? This generation, like the 20 to 30-year-old people, are like still fucking high schoolers. And it's like the mental age of everybody is shifted. They become high schoolers. 40-year-olds are trying to live like they're 20 and 30. And it's because social media allows you to do things you could have never done before. It allows you to fuck people you've never been able to fuck before, stalk people. You know, it allows you to do so much crazy shit. So it's like everybody's focus is shit. People aren't really focused on raising their little kids and having their kids stay like cute and this that like the little old school homie shit. I feel like people are focused on I gotta wear the craziest clothes. I gotta have my kid in the craziest clothes. Or, you know, fuck the kid. I'm going out and doing my own fucking thing. Da 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 da.
And
And it's just a lot of noise. It's like you bring the city into the palm of your hand and you have access to it at all times. It's like forever getting FOMO, you know?
mm,
Fear of missing out. You're forever FOMO and you already concocted like it's just a way to sabotage yourself, man. And I feel like as a society we've been sabotaging ourselves for a long time. And it's really hard to come together. And if I were to come together as a society or make a group, I wouldn't make it specific on any race or sex or now I wouldn't have any racial goals either. I would more have like familial goals, familial community goals, you know?
mm.
Something like that. Making
Actually.